I'm joined now by our international affairs editor, Philip Turle, who's with me here on set. Philip, to begin with, tell us more about what's being called the bromance, if you like. This is between Donald Trump, of course, and the FIFA President Gianni Infantino. It's one of those things taking centre stage ahead of this World Cup.
Well, many people have been asking why there is this sort of bromance, this romantic relationship between Donald Trump and Gianni Infantino. I think there are a few reasons for this. Let's have a look at Gianni Infantino as a person, first of all. He's 56 years old. He was born in Switzerland. He has Italian nationality. He's been the FIFA president since 2016. He's already been re-elected 3 times. He was a member of the International Olympic Committee in 2020. He earns between $5 and $6 million every year as the head of FIFA. Many are criticising him, even Michel Platini, his predecessor, saying that he likes rubbing shoulders with the rich and powerful, with autocrats. He's been seen with Vladimir Putin in the past, with Mohammed bin Salman from Saudi Arabia, and been really sucking up to Donald Trump since the United States won the World Cup for 2026. Remember, there were the images of him letting Donald Trump hold the World Cup in the Oval Office, saying the last person to do this was Lionel Messi. Then the Peace Prize, that's the picture here, the FIFA Peace Prize being given to Donald Trump by FIFA. This was right at the time when Donald Trump was the most angry about not having been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, a FIFA Peace Prize, sort of coming as a secondary present for him from FIFA. He was also present, Gianni Infantino, for the signing of the Abraham Accords. That's nothing to do with football. He was president in Donald Trump's guest list. He was on the guest list for Donald Trump's re-election inauguration at the beginning of last year in the United States. That's also nothing to do with football. So many are beginning to say, well, why is there this cohesion between Donald Trump and Gianni Infantino? What are the two men getting out of this? Obviously, for Donald Trump, this is all about showing off that he got the World Cup. He was the one who fought for it in his first mandate. Now the World Cup is in the United States. He wants to try to boost his image as the man who's responsible for all of this. And for Gianni Infantino, I think this was more a case of him trying to make this a much more open World Cup, trying to gain money for FIFA. We'll come to the tickets in just a moment, but it hasn't worked out quite as good for Gianni Infantino as I think it has for Donald Trump. But even for Donald Trump, it's not going to be that easy. Now, there are two groups. First of all, the British NGO Fair Square and Norway's Football Federation, who pointed the finger pretty much at Gianni Infantino, saying what he's doing is not correct. He's not respecting Article 15 of FIFA's neutrality, which is stipulated in their documents. And that's why he should not be talking to Donald Trump and making such a show of being in relationships, professional relationships with so many world leaders, and in particular with the US president.
Lots of other problems as well coming up ahead of this World Cup. The visa one, of course, sums of money being demanded from fans before being allowed into the US. The controversial sending back as well of the Somali refugee, Omar Artan.
Okay, well, several things to say here. First of all, the ticket prices we were just talking about, they have been much criticised. The price for the final of the World Cup now, Stuart, if you want a ticket for that, is nearly $33,000.
Wow.
Which is just beyond the means of practically everybody in the world. That's on the 19th of July. The original price was nearly $9,000, a lot cheaper, but still very extortionate. The average ticket price of the World Cup is $500. So it's made it really very expensive for most people who want to take part. But that's not enough. The Iranians say their tickets have not been given to them to give to their fans. That's been withdrawn. So they're really annoyed about that. They normally had 8% of tickets, like all teams taking part in the World Cup, for their fans. Iran reportedly has not been given those 8%. Muslim countries have found a lot of problems trying to come into the United States. The Uzbekistan team was put through humiliating tarmac security test. The Iraqi striker Ayman Hussein was made to go through the ordeal of hours of questioning on his arrival in Chicago. And you mentioned this referee, Omar Artan, from Somalia, who was sent home. He said that his whole career dream had been destroyed after working so hard to get to the United States. We got more on that from this report from Clarice Fortuny.
A hero's welcome in Mogadishu for Somali referee Omar Artan. The award-winning official returned home after being denied entry to the United States, ending his dream of officiating at the FIFA World Cup.
I promise you that in the upcoming matches I will go further and leave a positive mark. Somalia is ours, whether things are good or bad. I want to tell our youth not to lose hope in our country. That flag is ours.
Somalia's government says it remains fully behind the referee, who was named Africa's Man Referee of the Year in 2025.
Yesterday you were an African attending an event, but today you're an African icon supported by Africa, the world and FIFA itself.
At football matches in Mogadishu, players and fans displayed photographs of Artan in solidarity. Many supporters described the decision as unfair and said it deprived Somalia of a rare moment of pride on a world stage.
He was sent back from the United States, which we consider to be discrimination, discrimination, discrimination.
U.S. authorities say Artan was found ineligible for admission, but the Somali athlete has said he held the correct documents and visa. Despite the setback, Artan will remain determined to continue his career and inspire the next generation, hoping to make their mark in international sport.
Clarice Fortuny there. Philip, we talked about Donald Trump a little bit earlier on. I mean, he's really trying to stamp his mark, isn't he, on this event? Is he going to be able to do that, though, amid the ongoing war in Iran, also his popularity ratings?
Well, I think the answer to that is nobody, and Donald Trump to begin with, wanted the Iran war to carry on this long. And I don't think Donald Trump thought when the war started on the 28th of February, he would still be fighting Iran at the start of the World Cup on the 11th of June. So that is a huge black mark for Donald Trump that he hasn't been able to get round. This is the first time that a country that has started a war against another country, and that war is still going on, and both those countries are playing in the World Cup that's being hosted by one of the countries that declared war. So that's something that Donald Trump is going to have to deal with. You said that there is a problem with his popularity rating. That is certainly true as well. That continues to plummet. A New York Times poll, which has just come out, says 58% of Americans have a poor opinion of Donald Trump, the way he is behaving as president, compared to only 38% positive ratings. And over 60% of Americans believe that the war in Iran is a bad thing for the United States, and they do not agree with the fact that Donald Trump declared this war. Yeah, he has tried to stamp his mark on the World Cup, but remember, last year, Donald Trump was booed at the FIFA World Cup final at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. That is the same stadium where the World Cup final is due to take place at the end of June. So Donald Trump says he's going to go to the World Cup. He intends to go to the matches. I don't know if anybody thinks that Donald Trump knows much about football or Western football, soccer, but he says he's going to go to the matches. We'll see what kind of reception he gets when he gets there, even though Donald Trump is more than likely probably just to say, well, they're not booing, they're doing something else, but I'm still the person who's the most popular in the United States. So we'll see how this plays out, but it's certainly coming at a very difficult time for FIFA, for the World Cup. A lot of criticism about the fact that this is not an open game where people are being brought in, welcomed to the United States, all restrictions being lifted. There's a feeling, I think, definitely amongst fans and organisations that is completely the opposite of that ahead of this World Cup, which begins today.
Philip, thanks very much. Philip Turle, International Affairs Editor here on France 24.